as I put it on Twitter, which I figured would probably be semi-offensive, but I don't even know if anyone even read it. I'm harnessing the power of my ADHD and my autism to really do a deep cleaning on my room.
Let's go. I am ready to rock the house and cut some bloopers.
Well, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Hokey smokes. I'm not feeling altogether that good. My muscles are still really sore. My skin kind of hurts, and there's reasons for that. But it's wet outside, and it was raining and snowing. Actually snowing this morning, and so my sinuses are and I've been hacking and wheezing and sneezing and coughing, and oh joy. So thumbs up on that. But I'm alive. It's a good thing, and it's turning sunny now, but it was so gray and dim this morning. And then yesterday, it was bright and sunny, and then it was hailing, and then it was bright and sunny, and then it was snowing, and then bright and sunny and hailing again. There were accidents everywhere. It was nutso. So thumbs up on that. And of course, front loading of videos, but if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, thumbs up for that. If you could leave me a comment, I enjoy reading comments. I thumbs up each one I read, which is all of them, and I answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. Thumbs up on that, and I do wish to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, the literally beautiful and awesome people that are literally beautiful and awesome. They help to keep me and my kitty cat and my hamster alive, and that is appreciated. We all enjoy metabolizing and being alive. Thank you so much. And if you could become a beautiful and awesome person, that'd be very cool. Links in the video description. Front loading of videos over. Yay. As mentioned, I don't feel very good today. I don't feel good physically. I mean, I got a whole bunch of allergy stuff going on, joy on that. And I could also have a bug. I also feel, like I mentioned, with my muscles feeling sore, my skin not feeling altogether that good. And when I get sick, my skin tends to just hurt. My muscles don't feel good. So it could be that. But also, yesterday I got very little done creatively. I did my vlogging and my editing, and then I felt really antsy and wanted to start getting everything done early, but pushed things off a little bit, and then right around 1 o'clock just was done. And then it happened. I was talking before about how with ADHD you will have problems with keeping your common area clean. Well, yesterday at about 1 o'clock-ish, I just started cleaning in here because it needed it. That was fun. I have, at the best of times, at the very best of times, and the very best of times are not all the time, maybe 70% charge on my rechargeable battery. Yesterday, I did not have a full charge on my rechargeable battery. I only had maybe 50% charge, 50 spoons out of 100 to spend, and I decided to do a deep cleaning on the room here. And I did as much as I could. I moved as many things as I could. The vacuum cleaner, of course, I inherited from my housemates. But they buy the cheaper vacuum cleaners that you have to replace fairly often, because less than a minute into my vacuuming and the beater bar part broke. So instead of knocking stuff upward and then having the vacuum get it, it was just the vacuum because the beater bar part's broken. Oh joy. So I had to undo the hose from where it attaches, and the hose is only 3 feet long, less than a meter, and I had to drag that little nozzle of the opening over the entire carpet as much as I could reach. Oh boy. So I got a lot of junk that I got out and I cleaned up, and I couldn't do everything. There's parts over here that I haven't even been able to touch, like where my kitty cat likes to sleep and all that. I haven't gone anywhere near it. And I still have this bookcase back here, haven't touched. In fact, that's what triggered it. I was bringing in one of my bins so I could start emptying this bookcase out. At which point I went, there's there's not enough room for me to really put the bin in where I want to put it. At which point I put the bin back, and then everything started. As I put it on Twitter, which I figured would probably be semi-offensive, but I don't even know if anyone even read it. I just went, I'm harnessing the power of my ADHD and my autism to really do a deep cleaning on my room. Mentioning the depression part doesn't help since I do have the trifecta. But I did a pretty good job for what I could do with the tools that I have and the charge that I had. Right around 5 o'clock, I was done. I had to stop. I couldn't even bring the stuff out that I had put on top of my bed in my bedroom. I had to wait for that before I went to bed to be able to move it because I was just done. Luckily, it was not much. It took like one trip with stuff stacked on top of a book. So, not difficult. But, oy vey. So, it's largely done. Well, I mean, even the tabletop in front of me. I mean, I gotta dust that and get rid of some junk. The one thing I do like is I knew it was here, I just didn't know where. I found my card reader finally. I have a video from like around Christmas time. Before that, when they had the Christmas tree maze up in town. Finally, I can get this off here. And I can start dragging my video thing around town again. Because I gotta wait to get the video off the SD card. Yay! Micro SD card, of course. So past that, not a whole lot is being done. I went and spent my time getting ready and doing the early part of the day. And then from 1 o'clock until 6 was just cleaning and moving and getting stuff around. It's not that it would have taken anybody else that long. I bet anyone else could have done it in an hour or two. But I move slow because I hurt, and I can't lift stuff up because I hurt. I mean, I can lift, but there's a limit. So, but I got it done, and that's good. Definitely a thumbs up on that. Yay! But I went out on walkies, of course, afterward, and it was raining for part of it, and then just nasty afterward, cold, and joy. But that's fine. There was some stuff that I did want to talk about, and part of it was I mentioned the snow and all that, and then I put down on the list about the cleaning up. I did want to verify and try to speak a little bit more on it's. If you try to look it up, the 80-20 rule is like the Pareton thing, Pareton, but it's very granular, and you have to decide when you're going to stop if you are going to use it. Yes, it will work perfectly fine as a motivational thing if you go 80% by 20%. But remember, this doesn't just work for things like monetary stuff. Take a look at your life. 20% of the room that you live in gets 80% of the traffic. That's true in this room that I am in. 20% of the room gets 80% of the traffic. Take a look at the things that you do. Take a look at the number of games that you have. 80% of your gameplay is done on 20% of what you own. The television shows you like to watch? Again, 80% of your viewing will be done on 20% of either a particular type of show or your particular genre or a particular series. This 80-20 rule doesn't just affect things like finances, it's everything in life. You start looking at that. Notice how 20% of your room gets 80% of your stuff, your activity and movement in it. Take a look at the books you like to read. I bet 80% of the books you read come from a small section of 20%. It's not just in finances. But yes, you can decide how granular you want to get. If you want to use it motivational, just go, yeah, 80% of your effort is on 20% of your stuff, so focus on that. Yeah, it's just as granular as you want it to be. Yeah, and also I think it was Forum U was talking about iterations. Yeah, one iteration is good, maybe 2 iterations. When you're like a mobile company that's, trying to just make money at the all cost, then yeah, you keep granularizing it down. Because yeah, they don't stop at the 80 and the 20. No, they take the 80% of those 20. Well, the 20% of those, they keep going granular. So they don't just focus on the top 20%, and they don't just focus on the next 20%. They keep focusing it down. If they can get even 5 or 6 whales in total, that'll pay for it. So joy on that. But also I wanted to talk also as well, because I'd mentioned the whole cosmic horror thing yesterday. I have actually been thinking of something else that would fit, and I don't know where I would use it, but I was trying to think of just as an intellectual exercise on a minor level cosmic horror / existential horror thing, because really cosmic horror and existential horror can use those same criteria that I have distilled cosmic horror down to. Existential horror is just more, it affects one person instead of a group or the world or the universe. I mean, you still have the whole beings, objects, occasions, or situations that cannot be comprehended, simply existing or doing something in a way that you cannot understand, in a way that has little or no regard for human health or safety. That works on the micro as well as the macro level, existential versus cosmic horror. But I was thinking on, well, what would be like just a weird thing? And like, what would be weird? We think of water, it goes down and it builds up. What would happen if there's a city, like I'm close to the whole Seattle-Tacoma area, that's large, huge metropolitan area for the western coast and the northwestern part of the country. It's a large metropolitan area. What if there was an area of land, a 100-mile circumference, 50-mile radius, where suddenly people started noticing that buildings were starting to get all waterlogged and things were getting wet, but it wasn't in the lowlands, it was up top. And water was starting to gather upward, and the valleys are getting dry, and the tops of hills are getting wet. And if you have a artificial structure up there, like a building that's up on top of a hill, the water is flowing upward and soaking into all of the structures and gathering up at the roofs and filling this way. But not against gravity, except in the fact that it's using capillary action to soak upward into stuff. Because when this stuff rots, like if you got a house that's suddenly like it's underwater, it's gonna start rotting, and that stuff falls downward gravity. What's gonna happen when all the electronic stuff starts filling with water and all of the buildings get waterlogged? What are people going to do when basements on the tops of hills are flooding? And the tops of hills, where people tend to build as well, become open air swamps. How do you explain that happening? Well, you can't. Water is flowing upward. And of course, to make it even more bizarre, I was thinking on this, it would have to be the water is it accumulating and destroying stuff, because after all, once again, it flows to the top of a hill, and then it flows upward through the artificial structures until the entire structure is filled with water. Your house ain't gonna last. Roads aren't even gonna last, because the water's gonna come up underneath it, and then it's going to lift the road parts up, and they're going to be moved and pushed out of the way. Every road's going to come apart. All the rocks and the dirt roads, the artificial stuff we make as we drive on it, that's going to get swept away from the increasing amount of water just coming up. What are the people going to do? And of course, as stated, it gets viscous and thick and oily and dark. And as the plants start absorbing this water, they don't die, but they get changed into much more primitive and rough and dangerous looking and acting things. And then what do? I also envision there'd be like two people that are, they're semi-government officials, and they're up and they're traveling, and they come across this, looks like just a deer that's sleeping in the middle of a field. So they go up to it, and it stands, but it's got like fungus where its eyes should be. And when it looks at them, it doesn't just do deer stuff, it's going and it starts running at them. One of them has a gun and shoots it, but when its head blows up, there's no blood and bone and skin and all that. It's just a kind of a thpock sound and a spray of what looks like confetti out of its head. The thick fungal mass of its brain blowing out. And what liquid there is in its body is kind of thick and dark, kind of half coagulated. What do? How do you figure out what's going on? You can't. Nobody understands this. Wouldn't that be a thing? I am working on this as an idea. So who knows what's going to happen. It's fun to think about. I enjoy being creative. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. That's not a lot, but thank you each person that does. Anything more than 0 is awesome. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And well, we know my brain works. So JJ, thumbs up and thank you. And Ice Damon, always good to see you. Toswes, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. We have John Mara, greatly appreciated. Minxie, thank you very, very much. DCX Productions, who actually has some very, very good advice and comments in the comment. Thank you very, very much. It is appreciated. I hope you're all watching. Ben B, greatly appreciated, and thank you. Good to see you in the comments. Jay with 2 Y's, and it is very good to see you in the comments as well. I am growing to really recognize and enjoy seeing your name, just as I come to enjoy seeing anybody's name multiple times. I like seeing people that I recognize. We have Tommy Copeland, thumbs up and thank you. And Flora Mew, always good to see you and thank you very, very much. Jesse Koskinen, greatly appreciated, definitely a thumbs up. And Abe Shelby, thumbs up. And then Confused L29, 13 people excuse me, who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciated. Get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text and for only a short time. Definitely thumbs up. And with my hands in the air, of course, don't know what device you're watching this on, so I don't know where the show more is, but inside of the video description there's links to all of my various channels, as well as my Twitter, my Facebook, my Patreon, which again, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. Literally, these people help to keep me alive. My disability is not keeping up with the cost of staying alive. Oh boy. And so these people helping me out so that I don't die is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you, each and every one of you. And again, if you'd like to help me out and become a patron, links are in the show more, as stated for everything. I don't know where my mind is sometimes. And if you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I have a PayPal link. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money at all, I do have an Amazon wishlist link with things like cat food on it. So if you could check that out, that'd be very awesome. Thank you, but don't feel obligated, and I don't feel entitled. And if you cannot or you do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. And if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be very cool. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely a thumbs up on that. Well, Hokey smokes. I've got some cleaning to do, but it's going to take me a couple days to physically recover from cleaning yesterday. So Hokey smokes. Hopefully I can get some phone calls made, and hopefully you can do whatever you need to do, whether it be phone calls or cleaning or walking or whatever you need to get done. Hopefully you can get it done. Now, if you can't, of course, don't feel bad. Survival is more important than the ephemeral stuff that human beings do. Live first, then try to integrate. Thumbs up on that. And of course, with the covfefe bug raging, you know what the precautions are. Please take them. You don't need to catch it. You don't need to spread it. And of course, it's surging again. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and I still think that that's a very good idea.